Welcome to BareKnuckle, boys.
So,
We have a guest on here. This is our good friend William. He's been watching boxing with me for well over a year, and he's watched a little bit of BKFC, and he came and watched BKFC Montana with us this last weekend. So we're excited to have him on and
yeah,
finally hear a little bit of his input on this. He brings a different perspective than my co-host here and I, and we're happy to share it with you.
So I guess starting out, William, what do you think about BKFC in comparison to MMA or regular boxing, I guess?
Yeah, we can hear your honest opinion.
um, not really necessarily my thing. It's really brutal, like much more blood. The fights are really quick. But yeah, nah, it's kind of just a slugging fest, and yeah, I kind of like to see more of the finesse than like boxing that comes with kind of like another light tap and then a heavy, uppercut or something like that.
Right.
Whereas with BKFC, it's very much like just go 100%. You don't stop. You just keep swinging until you tire out, and then your opponent kind of does the same.
Yeah.
Fair
Well,
enough.
But some of those fights, though, they've been really they have had some really high finesse in them. So not crapping or shitting on anyone, but like
now,
it's
do you like
just kind of a different
boxing
game.
over MMA, or are you?
I like boxing over MMA. I just never really got too much into MMA, but yeah, I like boxing more than MMA. I do like was it Muay Thai?
Yeah,
Muay Thai is really interesting.
Well, hell, I guess we're gonna jump right into the fighters. The fights of BKFC. I think they were calling it Fight Night Montana.
Mm-hmm.
And that was this past October 9th. I've got a bunch of notes on it right here. I'm not staring down for no reason. Okay, so the first fight was Stewart versus Gates, and we've actually got the fight card pulled up as well. They were one of the prelims. There were actually two prelims of this fight rather than three. One of them just didn't go,
Yeah.
so that was kind of unfortunate. I think we all would have liked to see one extra fight. But Stewart versus Gates, that was the first round TKO. And actually, Gates, it was his debut, and he came from MMA, is from what I. That's what I wrote down right off the bat. What do you think, just looking at his picture? What did you think?
I correctly guessed both the prelims how they would go, and I didn't know much about these fighters going into it. I had looked into some of Kai Stewart's training, but hitting mitts is a little different from hitting a person, so didn't necessarily mean he was going to win. But I correctly predicted that he would win, and it feels good to be right.
I think that was the one where I was going against you. I didn't think he was going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said Kai Stewart didn't have a chance, but
Yeah.
he knocked him out in the first round.
Yeah. Then I saw it.
Well,
and I
not
was like,
knocked
oh.
out, but technical knocked him out.
Yeah. All right. Next one was Dennis versus DP.
Yeah.
And let's see here. So it was Dennis's debut. It was DP's debut. They both had the same. They both had the same odds exactly, which I thought was pretty crazy because I
Yeah.
hadn't seen it before. But I think we have. I think you mentioned that.
I've seen it, yeah.
They had the same weight. They had the same height. Pretty much
Wasn't
exactly the same.
wasn't one of them like a ounce different in the weight?
It might have been, but it was just so damn close. I thought it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Just because I hadn't seen it before, or I hadn't noticed, I guess. Um, DP actually ended up winning that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
That was a
won
good
by
fight.
TKO, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another thing about Montana. It was a repeat of BKFC 21 in the fact that it was 100% knockouts, which I tried to make a side bet with my co-host here on that, and he wouldn't take me up on it. And probably worked out for him that he didn't. But
I didn't think it was going to happen again, but dadgummit, it looks like it's probably going to start happening a lot more often. Also, speaking of just like BKFC in general, though, I am happy to see a lot more debut fighters getting into it.
we've been seeing that a lot lately.
Yeah.
Anytime they go to a new place, they just put people from the hometown in there, and the crowd really eats that up.
It is nice.
Yeah. It's also really good just to see kind of like the talent, like more talent kind of come into the sport.
William, do you think hometown advantage is a thing at all?
Oh, very much so.
I think so.
Yeah, like you don't have to travel as far, so you're not like cramped in like an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
You're not jet lagged. Also, it depends on like where they're having it. So like if if you have an event in like Biloxi, Mississippi, right? It's gonna be the atmosphere and just like kind of everything else, like the temperature and everything like that's gonna be much different than if you're having like the event in like Colorado up in like the Rockies. Because
True.
you also have that like I don't know, just that kind of hometown feel that's a bit different from
Mm.
area to area.
Well,
So
what'd you think about the Dennis versus the DP fight? Did
that was
you?
a good fight. Um, yeah, it's kind of a shame that it was a TKO that kind of stopped it, like with the doctor stepping in. Well, I don't know if the doctor stepped in. That was in the previous
I know
round.
it was a medical stoppage, I think. Wasn't it?
It was a TKO. It
That's the
was
next
for
one.
punches, but it
Oh,
wasn't a doctor stoppage.
Okay.
yeah. The doctor stoppage was the Davidson versus Christensen, which is the next one.
Yeah.
That the Dennis and DP was the. And we'll put up the fight card on screen to help you guys out because we're gonna be jumping around. We're gonna try to keep it in order mainly, but yeah, that was the last of the prelims with the Dennis and DP. Um,
Yeah.
it was bloody. It was fun. It's exciting to watch as always. Um, okay, Davidson and Christensen though. I guess right off the bat, William, did you have any kind of like thoughts on it going straight into it? I'm looking at their faces right now, and
Um, Not really. I'm not the most informed on the sport, but generally I kind of like to see just how it's going. I know Ben had some bets lined up.
who did you do you remember who you bet on?
In this one, I wasn't able to bet on it in time.
Weren't able to on any of the fights?
No, no, on this specific fight because I had forgot to bet on those two fighters, and then I tried to do it, but it was like it literally said locked because it was happening on screen as
Who were you gonna fight, or I guess pick?
Davidson.
You were gonna pick
Yeah.
Davidson.
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
I was trying to throw money on Davidson real quick, but
you
it
would have
wouldn't.
won some money then.
Yeah, I would have.
Oh yeah, and I remember
Hate to see it.
Yeah.
from my notes at least. I remember that Davidson just right out of the bat had a whole lot of energy. Was going after it. Yeah, TKO round 2 by medical stoppage. Yeah, and Christensen had a split lip.
Yeah.
That's the one. Oh yeah, that's right. He split it wide open.
Yeah.
It was That was
Yeah, but
nasty.
Your words
No.
were he's pissing
Yeah,
blood.
he's pissing blood. Yeah, because
I was like, you're the
he
only
didn't
one
get
who
the
would
worst
say
of it
that.
though. Some of the other fighters later on in the fights, they got some.
a lot of
They got
blood.
beat up real bad.
Yeah. I think you're talking about the Crystal Pittman one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean the one we're
Christ,
talking about
man.
right now?
Yeah, Wong versus Pittman. We'll jump. Speaking of which, we'll jump right on into it. Both of their BKFC debuts.
Yeah.
Wong had a lot of fighting experience beforehand.
Crystal Pittman had a lot too.
She had a lot too.
Amateur.
What are your thoughts on it, William? Right off the bat.
Yeah, William, did that one stick out to you more than some of the others?
Yeah, no, that was a bloodbath. And that's probably an understatement there.
Yeah.
Pittman was just getting
Yeah.
absolutely.
Pittman was like covered in blood,
beat
man.
up, yeah.
I don't know.
And she had the
Cool.
big old bruise, blood, boil thing just forming under her eye. And then just Wong kept wailing on it and just popped it wide open.
It was so gory you couldn't even use anatomically correct words to describe it.
Yeah, it was. It was just. Oh man. Yeah, but let's see here. I guess do you have any input on that?
Yeah, it was one of the fights I looked forward to the most. It didn't disappoint. Well, maybe it disappointed you, but I wasn't disappointed, even though I lost some money on it. I still enjoyed the fight. Yeah, Jade Wong clearly won it, but Crystal Pittman still showed that she wasn't just like there for a paycheck. She worked for her money. She worked harder than
That's
a lot of the other people on this card, in my opinion. She kept fighting, and if the medical team didn't force her to stop, I'm confident she would have kept going until she was dead or knocked on the floor or couldn't get up. So my hats off to Crystal there. But she really should have been put up against Audra Cummings, if you ask me. I don't think Jade Wong was the right.
Debut fight, you think?
Yeah, maybe not. But it's a good way to kickstart Jade Wong's career, and hope to see her up there more. She's definitely probably going to be making it onto the BareKnuckle rankings pretty soon. Maybe working her way up. Definitely want to see. I'd love to see either one of them fight Ginny Savage, and
That would be a good match.
that would. Yeah, I want to see the Tennessee Gangster versus either one of them. I hope this doesn't discourage Crystal because I definitely want to see her fight again.
I don't think it will. I think she's gonna just enrage her, and she'll use it in her workouts. Hopefully.
Well,
And
in boxing though, sometimes the rookies they get beat so bad they just can't really ever overcome that. So it's just very much kind of like a mental thing. But I think she's a real mental. She has a lot of mental toughness, so I think she'll pull through.
Yeah.
But it's hopefully it doesn't it's not like a burden. She can kind of use it to better herself and stuff. Kind of always be there in the background, kind of dragging her down.
Yeah.
We were talking about this before or during the fight actually. MMA versus boxing, and does it translate over to BKFC? Very well.
Everyone who's anyone knows that. Yeah. Like it's very
both
obvious.
of them do, or
both of them do. Yeah.
Okay, and that boxing obviously more than MMA, but
probably because if you're too focused on the pretty useless grappling stuff, that you can't really do much with that in BKFC. The grappling might help you in the clinch game, but really more Muay Thai would help with that than MMA. So you're mostly when you're training for BKFC, most fighters are generally doing just boxing exercises. So you don't need to really worry about your legs that much. You need to know how to rotate your hips and use your legs for good footwork, but you don't need to set up kicks or anything. So it's completely different. You gotta train for it different. You gotta train for it more like boxing than MMA. But MMA experience obviously helps. It's still fighting. So at the end of the day, this is BareKnuckle Fighting Championship, not BareKnuckle Boxing. So the rules are slightly different from boxing in the sense that you can punch in the clinch as long as and they won't separate it as long as it's an active clinch. So
I would agree. I would say MMA might also somewhat hurt you because I know a lot of guys the grapplers, and so if you're coming from the MMA into BKFC, you're not you just naturally want to grapple with the guy, but you can't do that. And then I don't know how a lot of the martial arts would translate over because you can't really kick in BKFC. You can't do a kick to the face or anything like that. It would be interesting though if they did a chokehold in the whole fight.
Well,
no one does that.
We've almost seen stuff pretty close to it. It was, we've seen some crazy stuff that isn't allowed in some of those fights before. But not in this one, not that I know of or remember.
Yeah.
Show Off versus Wright. Wright was from Montana.
Yeah.
This is the one that right at the beginning, I didn't think the Show Off was going to win. Just because out of the gate.
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah, Josh Wright, he was just taking hits to the chin, and he was not going down at all.
I was pretty confident on the outcome of this one.
Even seeing that on round one? Really? With an iron chin like that? If I see someone who's not phased by it at all, I'm thinking he can't go down there.
He was hit way more, and he was hit way harder. Clearly way harder.
Yeah, but he wasn't going down.
He was just trying not to show weakness. That doesn't mean that he wasn't affected. He was clearly affected, as you can see from the outcome of this fight and the second round.
Yeah, that was in round 2.
Also, although he wasn't kind of going down, he definitely kind of had that dazed look in his eye.
Well, yes.
Right in round 2, and Show Off did get knocked down. He got right off the bat early.
It was like a slip. That was a little slip, wasn't it?
They might have done the count, but regardless, it was more of a slip, and there was the consistency of the damage was
did get right
very
up,
much
remember
minimal
that.
Compared to what was happening with Wright. Wright was just getting nailed one after the other.
That's true.
No, what happened was I thought Josh Wright did better than I expected him to do, but I still didn't. I never at really any point in that fight thought, oh, Josh Wright is gonna win this, because like if it went to the points card, Shof would have like very very clearly gotten the W for that.
Yeah, I think it was pretty equal exchanges though. Regardless, though. Anyways,
I wouldn't say that was an equal fight. I would say that Shof dominated and Josh showed a lot of heart and determination.
Tenacity.
Yeah, tenacity. Yeah, Josh Wright was doing his best with what he had, and what he had was an iron chin.
yeah.
But unfortunately for him, Tom Shof had diamond fists that night. So, Shof was already going to win because he had a superior mustache, and we know that mustaches win the fights in the BKFC world.
They sure as hell help. very much. They very much
Just kidding.
help. All right. Next one was the Bercier versus Villasenor.
Yeah,
Villasenor?
yeah.
They were saying Villasenor. I don't know if it's Villasenor or what.
Well, let's not worry ourselves with them. This was Leo versus Lewis. Let's not worry ourselves with their foreign last names that are that we're gonna get canceled for trying to pronounce.
Yeah, probably. No, we won't. We can't get canceled. They can't cancel us. What do you think, William? On it. You watched that fight. You were still up.
Yeah,
for that
let's. Yeah, what did
do
you
you
think,
think?
William? Is that one memorable to you or not really?
Not really.
That was the one where Leo, if you got your fight card pulled up, Leo versus Lewis. Leo was he was staying in the middle of the ring mainly, and he was able to just fight off the Valos.
I mean, it was a knockout, which was kind of, I guess, memorable.
They were big dudes fighting.
Half the fights were TKOs and the other half were knockout. I mean, yeah. I mean, Louis went down pretty hard. Yeah, it lasted long. It lasted quite a long time too.
Out of breath.
Wait, what did this one go to? What round did this go
round
to?
Round
Yeah.
two. That's
Yeah, round 2, I think it was like a minute 26.
Yeah.
It was a couple knockdowns, and then he just didn't get up in time in the last one. Yeah. And it makes pretty much sense.
Yeah.
Next fight
that was supposed to happen that didn't happen.
What?
Was Taylor Sterling versus Randy Eckholm.
Oh, and that's very. We got a lot of words on that one. Ben does, especially. What are your thoughts and opinions on that one? Right off the bat, Ben.
It's pretty infuriating that didn't happen. So Randy Eckholm, I believe, is 0 wins and 1 loss so far. And she was supposed to fight Taylor Sterling here. Now, I didn't think that this was really a fight that Taylor Sterling should have even taken. I think that she should be competing against one of the top girls. But instead they put her up against Randy Eckholm, which that's nice of them to give Randy Eckholm another chance, but she really blew it with her weigh-in. She couldn't make weight. She came to the weigh-ins at least, which is better than some other people would say, but
her was that second weigh-in she gained like 8 pounds, right?
Yeah, I was about to mention that.
That's ridiculous.
I thought it was the first weigh-in or whatever it was 10 pounds, and then it was 13 pounds, if I'm not mistaken.
It was
she gained 8 pounds, I think, from the first weigh-in.
Yeah.
So like let's say she was at 210, her second weigh-in was at 218.
Everyone was upset about it. Taylor Sterling is very upset about it. The fans are very upset about it.
They actually tried to make a little agreement to continue fighting, but then she blew it.
Yeah, they were gonna
take a pay
make
cut.
her purse smaller, but didn't happen. She backed out. At the very least, the thin lining of it is that they put Taylor Sterling on to do some commentary work, and she did pretty good at that.
It was kind of nice that they kept her. Put her and do something.
Yeah.
It still sucks though. That's kind of disappointing.
I don't necessarily wish it upon Randy Eckholm, but I mean, it might be the end of her career in BKFC anyway. Maybe there's a spot for her in one of the other organizations, but that that might be the end of her. That was pretty. A lot of people are, saying at the very least it's unprofessional. Um,
I
awesome.
mean,
It's also
BKFC's definitely put her
just
on.
You're
shoving it in
robbing
their
them.
face.
You're
BKFC's
robbing them of their livelihood.
Yeah, of a job, possible winnings.
Yeah.
You know, keep them going.
Thankfully, Taylor Starling, I believe, does have a day job, but a lot of these people, not a portion of these people anyway, this is their main source of income. So it's pretty crappy of someone to take that away from someone after they've spent all this time training and keeping their weight down, and they've spent all this money on nutritionists and diet plans and all this training, and it all goes out the window. But that's happened before. We've seen it happen. We've even seen it happen to another girl on this card. Crystal Pittman's had it happen to her at least twice. But well, it wasn't a weigh-in issue, but with the fight getting canceled is what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's part of the sport.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
But another thing that happens are KOs and TKOs. And the next one, we got Mix and Fields. And
yeah,
I remember this one clearly, yes, because he looked like he was
like,
out of
he's
prison,
dead.
is what I said.
I said he's dead.
Yeah, he looked like one of the with all the tattoos on him. I said he looked like the kid from Detention who like drew all over the drew on the desk. Yeah. That's what he looked like, a desk in the detention room. Good gosh.
Yeah.
He had some good. It looked pretty good up until that point. I mean, it looked pretty good exchanges back and forth until he got.
Well, I mean, that just kind of shows you that, like, in this sport, like, your fortune can change in a moment.
True. Yeah, you got a point there. Yeah. Hell, you want to roll?
Yeah, but the way he fell, man.
I guessed that one correctly too. I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fast fight. That's what could be said about it, I guess. Maybe the two most memorable things about it were the way that he fell, and then the little crazy-eyed celebration at the end. But otherwise, it was kind of overshadowed by a lot of other better fights.
Like the next one,
yeah,
which we'll roll right into, which in
my opinion is fight of the night.
Yeah, your favorite one.
Yeah, I love the show fight, but this was what I picked for my fight of the night.
Who was that between?
This was between Christine Ferreira and Calista Salgado.
And it was Salgado's debut.
Yeah.
As it seems like pretty much everybody's debut. Goodness gracious.
Well, it's her BKFC debut. Don't give people the impression that this is her first time fighting, because it's definitely not. She has a lot of experience. She's fought top women in boxing, including Amanda Serrano, and I'm blanking on some of the others, but I'll have a list up here on screen so that you guys can see.
From what they said, I wrote it down. I had it as she had 19 wins and 14 by KO in boxing, and then she had 33 pro fights.
Yeah. Going into this, I put a lot of money on Christine Ferreira because I've seen how hard she bangs. I've seen how hard she fights, and I had a lot of confidence in her winning this, but it was never certain because I knew what Calista Salgado's background was, and I knew her fight experience might be able to give Christine Ferreira a good thrashing. I didn't think that she was going to be some sort of pushover debut like some of these people that come into BKFC seem to be. I knew that she was going to have to work for it, and she did work for it. It's pretty easy to see why they put Christine Ferreira at the top of all the rankings right now. It's if you just watch the way she fights, I don't think there's many girls that can stand up to her right now that I could say like with a whole lot of confidence that they would beat Christine Ferreira. The only girl that's ever beaten Christine Ferreira in BKFC is Helen Peralta, and she's not doing BKFC anymore. She's focusing entirely on Invicta MMA. So Right now, she's waiting to get another challenger. She called out Taylor Starling. She said she's ready. She doesn't think that Taylor Starling's ready to fight her, but she's ready to fight Taylor Starling, so that's what matters. And I'd love to see that fight. A lot of people would like to see that, but it's up to the matchmakers whether or not we're going to see that anytime soon.
Well, hell, I'd like to see that fight. I think it'd be nice. Get more of the women fights in here that'll actually show up.
Yeah.
And actually go through.
Yeah.
But this one, in particular, some of the notes I had written down. Freya, she dominated the first round.
Yeah.
And she knocked down Sagato at the end of round 2,
Yeah.
right before the bell. And you can't get saved by the bell. Not in this one. Round 3, Salgado, one knockdown, and then second knockdown. Yeah, she was just done by then. It's kind of a beatdown. I was surprised because I remember this one clearly. I honestly thought Salgado. I thought she was gonna do pretty good, but she wasn't really. She was just getting hit rather than hitting it. You can't
The
just
punch output wasn't as good. Yeah.
You can't just stay there and be on defense. Yeah, defense doesn't win. It helps you if you have a good defense, but if you have no offense, I mean,
Yeah, you got to throw or else the ref will stop it.
Exactly how this one went down. Other than stoppage, I mean, she's just round 3 TKO by
You
big old knot on her forehead.
William, you prefer traditional, I call it traditional boxing, even though bare-knuckle could be considered traditional boxing, but you prefer gloved boxing partially because you like them lasting longer. Does this fight lasting longer appeal to you more, or do you was there something about this fight that you didn't care for, or what did you think overall? I'd like to hear.
I liked all the fights. This fight was really entertaining. There's a lot of you can really see like the talent and a lot of like just the skills these people had. That they had. It was overall a really good fight. But yeah, no, I don't necessarily like. It was a fine fight and everything. I enjoyed it. But yeah, I do like more traditional boxing, but it doesn't really seem as much of a bloodbath as usually BKFC turns out to be. It's usually like half the opponent's face is just like drenched in blood by the end of the first round, whereas with boxing it's a much more long, drawn out process, and you can really see like the endurance go. Whereas like in BKFC, it's more of a dynamic than more of a slow burn.
So does the brutality of BKFC not appeal to you, or is it just the time, how long they're in fighting?
It's just kind of. I mean, I would say these are very much like different sports. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like a BKFC fighter is training for a different way. There's a completely different way of fighting compared to like traditional boxing. Traditional boxing, usually, you have to be able to last the rounds because like many opponents, like their whole strategy is to tire you out. Whereas BKFC is not about tiring us out; it's about dealing as most damage as you can in the quickest amount of time.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like it's really kind of two completely different sports if you think about it in that sense. It's not that the brutality is necessarily that bad. It's just that like I would say it's just too quick. You know what I mean?
Too quick.
So because if by the end of the first round the opponent's already kind of gone, and second round is like, well, this isn't gonna last that long. It's like, okay, well, now I kind of have to sit here and wait for the next one.
So do you kind of like the ones that I guess go into, fourth and fifth round, where they're kind of hugging half the time?
That's not what it is. It's clinching.
Clinching.
Don't call it hugging.
Yeah.
Well, it looks.
That's an insult to fighters.
Boxing, they need more hugging. They need to mellow out. It's not. I don't necessarily enjoy the clinching aspect, but clinching is kind of a part of the game. But not like all fights. Like Canelo, Canelo Alvarez. I really like watching him because most of his fights don't really, I wouldn't say are really clinching a lot of times. They do clinch, but there's a lot more kind of going on to it than just clinching.
Well,
Christine Faria's said that she's trying to make it so what happened in this one doesn't happen again. She wants a round one knockout like everyone else had, or not everyone else had, but like what a lot of other people got on that night. So she's aiming for quicker.
speaking of one round knockouts, the next one and then the last one, which
It's pretty predictable.
yeah, biggest.
That was a little funny.
Riggs versus
going through the ropes.
and they
Yeah.
both had crazy
Yeah, he almost
backgrounds.
fell through the ropes.
Yeah, crazy backgrounds.
I mean, he got knocked out, and he almost went right out of the ring.
Yeah,
I kind of thought he was gonna fly out of the ring right after seeing that, but he didn't. No, one hit.
yeah, I think it was one hit.
It was one punch. He just kind of ate it for a couple seconds, and just turned on him, and one hit knockout. Didn't get up for the bell. What was it? I was gonna say, who was it? Was it David Diaz that had One Punch Man? The song?
No, that was
Was hold on.
what's his name? Elvin Brito.
Elvin Brito. Yeah, I was thinking for
Yeah.
that walkout, he could have stolen that song, One Punch Man. Stand.
Well, I mean, that one punch did a lot of damage.
It was
Did you guys read that?
Actually, looking after the fight and listening around and kind of looking at some of the stuff posted on social media, where he was hit, his orbital bone was shattered, and I think it was like 7 different places or something.
Yeah.
And he had to get
5
some
fractures.
major stitches. If I'm remembering correctly. I mean, it was brutal. He had to go in for surgery for that one. So Riggs, I mean, a lot of power, a lot of muscle behind that. I mean, you could just see it from the picture and him walking out. It was just, it looked like some David and Goliath stuff, but it just didn't go for it. Riggs dominated that one. It was brutal, absolutely brutal. It was a great way to tie it up and end the fight.
Yeah.
In the fight night.
Yep. It was predictable.
Yeah.
I put a joke bid on him.
How much did you put on it?
$2.
$2.
Yeah, he was an underdog
That's
for
smart.
sure.
Is that a lot to you? $2
No,
for it?
no, that's nothing. That's what I put.
No, for Ben,
It was a joke bid.
that is a large bet for Ben.
For me, that's a large bid. Yeah.
No, it's
Ben and I have
The
done
smallest
bets where
bid-
like, I'll bet 50 cents on this guy.
the smallest bid you can put on him on bet online is $1. So
Oh goodness.
I just doubled the minimum.
Gonna get. Hey, you got that money. You definitely got some money on that one.
I did. I ended up with a decent profit from Thomas Schoaf and all the money I put on Christine Faria. Crystal Pittman sort of lost me a little bit of money, but
Let's see. You have any comments, William, on this? I guess fight in general, the whole thing. Anything you'd like to see in the next one, maybe?
I mean, this one was pretty good. It was not bad. Hopefully they can sustain it. And hopefully that they don't have like any issues with weight or people dropping out. Because that does seem to be kind of like a trend that isn't necessarily the best with BKFC.
That is an issue that hopefully they'll figure that out. Hopefully they can get maybe more fights. So then, what do you think?
I'm just excited for next weekend, or this coming weekend, this Saturday, October 23rd, Wichita, Kansas. I'm excited to see that.
That was it for you. And then, William, thank you for joining us. Thank you for putting up with us for this time.
No problem.
It was good getting you on here. It was great having you there to watch the fight, get more people into this sport, fastest growing sport in America.
Combat sport.
Combat sport in America.
Might be the fastest growing.
Hey, it could be. It could be.
I can't think of another sport that's overtaken it. Maybe esports.
It's definitely not golf. All right, so that's it from us. That's it from William. Thank you again once more.
Well, hopefully I wasn't too boring and did
not
an
at all.
okay job.
Yeah.
And I guess
We'll see.
We'd love to see a lot of these fighters. Hopefully get them on the show, get some interviews going with them. But other than all that, that's going to be it. We're going to throw this